Hi folks, did you see the tone from the judge in the Delphi case? Fran Gull. There was a new order issued in the last few days in response to Richard Allen's defence team asking can they view his cell and maybe take a photo. Like, this has me kind of worried. I'm not going to lie. I was not expecting this type of tone from her, and it does have the feeling to me of a slight bias towards the prosecution. There's no need for the kind of the shade, the snarky comments that were made with regards to the defence team. And it's very obvious by this motion the way some other motions are going to go. This was filed close to 60 days ago, by the way, and it has a 30-day limit. So the judge should have ruled after 30 days. It's a very simple motion, but they left it go 60 and said no and threw a load of shade at the defence. I thought it was a pretty simple request. All they wanted to do was view Richard Allen's cell. That was it. Please don't forget, no matter what you think of Richard Allen, he is a pre-trial detainee. He is not convicted of anything. He should be housed in a local jail like everyone else in his situation, but he is in a notorious Westville prison on the maximum security wing in solitary confinement. Everyone else around him is convicted of some horrible crimes. So 30 days late, the judge has ruled in favour of the prosecution. They will not be allowed to view his cell. Why? Because apparently 2 men going to view Richard Allen's cell would completely overwhelm Westville prison, and it's oppressive. This is an oppressive move. If the guy who is a pre-trial detainee being housed in a maximum security prison in solitary confinement, it is oppressive to ask to view his cell. So we're all just going to take the prison warden's word for it, that everything is fine, he has a fantastic cell, he's been treated the same as everyone else. So let's just take his word for it, because in this judge's mind, I guess, a prison warden would never ever lie, and that has never happened in the history of prison wardens. I'm going to read out the full response here. I thought it was a bit snarky. There was a few digs in there at the defence. Order issued. The court, having reviewed the Indiana Department of Corrections motion to quash subpoena or enter protective order, now finds that the defendant's request is unreasonable and oppressive and beyond the scope of discovery. The court therefore quashes the subpoena and request for production to non-party issued by counsel on May 19, 2023. The court, having had this matter under advisement following a hearing and having considered the evidence and arguments of counsel, now finds as follows. Defendant is currently incarcerated in Westville Correctional Facility under a safekeeping order issued November 3rd, 2022. The court order states that the court finds the defendant is an inmate awaiting trial and is in imminent danger of seriously bodily injury or death, or represents a substantial threat to the safety of others. The evidence presented at the hearing on the defendant's motion to reconsider did not support many of the allegations advanced by the defendant's counsel. In fact, the evidence presented demonstrated that the defendant is treated more favourably than other inmates housed at Westville Correctional Facility. In light of the evidence presented, the court has reconsidered the original safekeeping order and finds it is reasonable and necessary to ensure the defendant's safety and to prevent serious bodily harm to himself. The Department of Correction has provided and will continue to provide the defendant with the necessary medical services, including any mental health services. If the Department of Correction believes a facility other than Westville is more appropriate or more convenient for the counsel, the court is confident that the Department of Correction will move the defendant accordingly. And there is a few things there, really, isn't there? The part at the end about, oh, I'm sure the Department of Correction will move the defendant for the convenience of the council. She knows damn well they're not. Of course they're not. Why would they? Because it makes it easier for his council to visit him. They don't give a shit about that. I thought that was just a completely unnecessary dig at why she thinks the council wants to move Richard Allen. It wasn't part of this motion. That's part of a different motion. But that was the narrative that the prosecution was putting out there at the last court hearing, and clearly the judge believes them. She thinks, oh, you just want to move Richard Allen because it's inconvenient for you. It just feels like she's a small bit biased towards the prosecution to me, and the shade was unnecessary. The line about Richard Allen is being treated better than everyone else. Where does she get that from? Because the testimony from the prison warden was he's being treated equally to everyone else. He's been treated the same as everyone else. Yet you ruled that he's been treated better. Is it because he was given a tablet when he broke it? Maybe. But he kept having breakdowns and confessing on that tablet, which was recorded calls. So why are they not going to give him another one? It's in their benefit to give him another one. And why the hell did this take 60 days? It took you 60 days to say no, to write that little paragraph and say no. Using the word oppressive, that's a bit cheeky. Like, you have a pre-trial detainee in a maximum security prison in solitary confinement, and you're saying his defence team is being oppressive if they want to go and view his cell. But you're not being oppressive to him. Make that make sense. Richard Allen is going absolutely nowhere. They can forget about any other separate motions to try and get him moved out of Westville. She's not going to rule in their favour there. She's like, not my problem, not the court's problem. This is the problem of the Indiana Department of Correction. If they want to move him, they move him. If they don't, they don't. Don't even ask me. That's basically what she said. And the other thing that is mentioned that has me pretty concerned, I feel like I'm going to bat here for Richard Allen, and I don't want to be doing that at all. I know many people are just convinced that Richard Allen is guilty. They hate the man, they don't care. But I do think it's borderline dodgy behaviour, at least. The whole situation, like that a man can be picked up, placed in Westville prison, no information given to the public, documents sealed left, right and centre, and shut up, don't ask any questions. Like, it just feels like that type of behaviour is a slippery slope if it's not checked. But the last thing, the line about the Department of Correction is providing and will continue to provide all the mental health services. So if Richard Allen's defence wants to get a mental health expert in to talk to him or something like that, I don't think it's going to happen. The judge is clearly saying here, they're responsible for all his health and all his mental health. They look after it. Don't worry about it, you. Like, am I picking up on this wrong? Am I the only one seeing the kind of snarky comments and the shade in this ruling? I don't understand why the judge is going into things that weren't in the motion and throwing unnecessary digs at the defence. And the only thing that I can draw from that is there's a bias there, and it slipped out. It slipped out when she was writing this. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I'm aware that I'm very touchy when it comes to this case. I want justice for Abby and Libby. I want justice for their families. I want justice for the whole community. So I don't want a biased judge in this case because of how that might impact that. Let me know what you guys think. Is this something to be worried about, or am I just completely reading too much into it? Good luck. God bless. I hope everyone has a nice day.